What do you see your self-worth as? Is it your body image and what you view yourself as? Or is it what has been fed to you by society? I know that at one point in all of our lives, we have sat back and questioned whether or not we are attractive. But the real question is, why are we asking that in the first place? I mean, we've all seen models and we all know what they look like, but why do we continuously compare ourselves to them? Just think about it. What is beauty? And why does it so dramatically affect our lives? And I'll tell you why. Because we grow up in this day and age hearing and seeing these idealistic versions of these people. And we are told that that is the definition of beauty. That this is what beauty looks like. But that isn't the case. In all reality, the truth is that that is just an image society has drilled into our minds. My reasoning for sitting here in front of you, speaking to you about this subject, isn't just to inform you on these matters, but it's to change our corrupted views on what we think beauty is. I mean, society has twisted the minds of the people into thinking that in order to be beautiful, we have to meet this quota that society has set out for each of us. And not even to mention that the younger generation is so tremendously affected by society because of social media. And the worst part about it is that not only are all these other factors into play with it, but that society has such a tremendous and huge effect on our mental health. I mean, this subject not only applies to me, but it applies to all of us, no matter your race, gender, or age. We've all fallen victim to the corrupted views that society has planted into our minds. As a woman who is overweight in this time and era where it can be more accepting for certain things, I not only have suffered from body shaming, but I have also suffered from self-image issues. And these are things that have affected my life more than what they ever should have. Nobody should go through these things. It has taken me years to even slightly feel comfortable in my own skin. I mean, I still catch myself slipping back into a negative mindset, but my favorite quote from Ellen DeGeneres states that, to me, beauty is about being more than just confident in your own skin. It's about knowing and accepting who you are. We all have these set goals in our minds, and we are just searching to appease people. Like, if I could just lose 20 pounds, or if I could just make my butt a little bigger, or if I could just have abs or a flat stomach, then maybe, just maybe, I would fit into the selective picture that society has set out for us. This quota that has been placed in front of us has not only led us into a division between one another, but it has also led us into a battle within ourselves between self-love and self-hate. According to Dennis Mative, teens spend on average a total of 9 hours a day. Just let that soak in. 9 hours. That's literally insane. We have only 24 hours in a day, and literally on a good night, 8 of those hours are spent sleeping. This is exactly what I mean when I say the younger generation is so highly affected by social media and is unbelievably gullible when it comes to society's mindset and society's perception of what beauty is. The craziest thing is that as humans, we are dependent on social interaction. Not only are we dependent on it, we are highly affected by it. Because deep down, regardless if me and you would like to admit it, we really do care what society and other people think of us. And that's the sad truth. In these crazy times, especially during this pandemic, our self-worth is at a critical tipping point between not only our physical, but also our mental breakdowns of our health. These are the primary consequences that society has on us. One being that it is so mentally exhausting to constantly find these little things and try to make ourselves fit into these pictures, these perceptions that is set for us. Not only is it mentally and physically draining, but it puts you into depressive slumps. And secondly, there are so many physical aspects to this problem the worst being that people are literally starving themselves over this matter, or gouging themselves, constantly eating because of this. And you know what that is doing? That isn't benefiting anybody. It's only leading you into worse problems. It's causing minor and major health problems, and some being obesity, diabetes, and not to mention, in dramatic cases, anorexia. That's just awful. My only solutions that I could even remotely think to help this situation are 3 simple steps. My first piece of advice for us to use is step away from social media. Stop being so easily influenced by other people. It doesn't matter what other people think of you. I know it's a hard thing to concept and grab, but all that matters is your opinion of yourself. Number 2, surround yourself with a good support system. Stop letting these shallow people come into your life who only care about your looks or partying or whatever the case may be. Surround yourself with people who love you for you and not your physical features. And step 3, and I cannot stress this one enough, stop objectifying people. Start by looking at what's in the inside to identify somebody's beauty, not what's on the outside. According to Sam Skolnick, a study from Brown University found that the media companies show women and men who are traditionally beautiful and try to define it as someone who has a button nose, a thin waist, and perfect muscles. That literally takes out half the U.S. population. I mean, this is the image that is being painted for the children growing up. Stated in dictionary.com, the definition of beauty is the quality that is in a thing or a person, and that gives an intense pleasure and deep satisfaction to the mind. Meaning, not only looks. Not only someone's looks. Very recently, the beauty industry and modeling agencies have started to bring in more body types and people who are more diverse, like people with skin diseases or people with Down syndrome. And this is causing more confidence, and it's kind of causing a ripple effect. As a reporter from NBC News, who goes by the name Nicole Spector, women like J-Lo and Kim K have helped to promote body positivity and body confidence for women that are not only tall, blonde, and white. Tall, blonde, and white, guys. Just absolutely insane. And these recent changes, even the slightest amount of change, has promoted more positivity rather than negativity. But even with these slight positive changes, majority of society still has such an uptight and traditional view on this matter. If we start to continue in this rate that we are going, we're going to lower negativity, and we're going to break down these set barriers that have been set for centuries. The views on beauty have differed throughout the decades. The primary gist has stayed the same. It is an inclusive perspective, and it is this mindset that is set in its ways and is defiant when it comes to change. If we don't meet this criteria that has been placed in front of us, you aren't considered beautiful in their standards. Because the tremendous role technology plays in our day-to-day life, we are not only gullible to society's perception, but we are forced by this perception, and we are pushed into these obstacles that we are forced to not only mentally but physically face. It took decades for the smallest amount of diversity to come into play when talking about beauty or society's view on beauty. Why has it just recently been that plus-size women have started to be called beautiful, or women of color have started to become more praised and appreciated in the view of society when considering beauty? Why has it taken this long for the smallest amount of change? Let's break down the status quo. We need to see beyond the physical aspect and find the true meaning within. Thank you.